Hey, welcome into today's video. I'm so glad you're here. Today, I want to talk about three things that I wish I had known earlier in my writing journey before I started writing my book. So, hey, if you don't know me, my name's TC Burr. Thank you so much for joining. I am a writer. And for a long time, I had a real hard time being able to say that. I never gave myself permission. I didn't think I had what it took. And I frankly thought that I had chosen a different path. I'm a dad, I'm a husband, I'm a corporate employee, I'm all these other things. But to say that I'm a writer, an author, seems so outlandish and so crazy to me until one day I had multiple changes happen in my life and I decided, you know what? It's time to go for it. So at that point, I started writing my book and I've been working on it for the past couple of years. I've actually worked on a couple side projects as well. So I have no fewer than 3 books going right now. And I'm super excited. I'm learning and growing so much every day. And I've also kind of made it my mission to encourage and inspire other aspiring writers because I've talked to so many people when they find out that I'm writing a book, one of the first things that they often say to me is, wow, I've always wanted to write a book. And to which I say, why don't you? Today is a great day to get started. So if you've always had a dream or an idea of writing a book, I want to encourage you with this content. So please follow the podcast, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Let me know how I can be of a help to you. I really want to see you start that book and continue to make progress until you turn it into something incredible. So if you want help with that, I created a free guide that helps you make a plan, set some goals, and make some big progress on your book. It's called 30K in 30 days. Don't get intimidated by that name, but it is just a way that I have set out originally as a writing challenge with a group of people to say, hey, we really want to make some big progress on our novel. How do we do it? So again, it walks you through how to set some goals, how to choose the right tool, what your goal setting and tracking can look like. I've given you some tools to help you track your progress, to celebrate your success. All of this is super important when it comes to writing a book, but it's not easy. And when I got started, nobody told me these things. So I kind of had to figure it out as I went. So I want to help you. I want to provide some resources. Go to pages.tcburr.com. You can have that today as my gift to you. I hope it's as helpful to you as it has been to me. All right, so let's jump into it. 3 things I wish I knew before I started writing my book. Number one, the number one thing that I know now that I didn't know then is when you're setting out to write a book, it's going to be more difficult and take more time than you could ever imagine. And so, maybe like a lot of writers, I started off thinking, I'm just going to jump in. I've got an idea, I've got a character, I've got a, vague concept of the plot. I'm going to jump in and I'm going to start writing. And that's what I did. I wrote consistently every day for a period of 3 or 4, 5 months. And until I got to 70, 80,000 words in my first draft, and I read back through it and it was good, but there were a lot of holes. There were a lot of things that needed to be fleshed out. And I'm on draft 4. So I'm still revising, still writing this thing, still not even anywhere close to being published. So that's one of the things that I think I learned early on is that, oh, this is going to take a lot more time. And maybe that's discouraging to you. Maybe you're like me and you thought you were just going to jump in, knock this out in a couple months and move on to, world fame and selling millions of copies and seeing your books in Barnes and Noble and getting an option for a movie or a Netflix deal or something like that. I don't want you to give up on those dreams, by the way. I still think all of those things are possible for you, but it might end up taking longer and being a little bit harder than you think. Here's why I think that's not only okay, but it's actually a good thing. Because in our world that we live in, where everything is instant gratification, we want to see results, we want to take the shortcut, we want to get to the quick wins as fast as we can. I believe that it's actually the things that take the most time that end up being the most rewarding. Think about your regular life. Think about maybe if you're a parent or you're married. Those things take time. They take investment. If you want to have a good marriage, you don't just stumble into that, right? You have to work. You have to sacrifice. You have to put in the reps. But over a period of years and decades, you can see some real growth. You can see some real development. You can see some real unity happen. But it's only because you've invested the time, you've invested the energy. So I don't think you're going to get to that quick win. It's going to take a lot longer than you think. It's going to be harder than you think. But in the end, the product that you get is going to be so much better. And not only that, you will have grown significantly as a writer. So if I look back at my first draft of my novel, it was okay. But now, if I compare that to a current draft that I'm working on now, my writing style is worlds different. My character development's different. My dialogue is better. The scenes are more vivid. The pacing, all of those things I've improved in a relatively short period of time. And I want to encourage you with this. You will improve as a writer as you continue writing in the future. It's not going to happen through sitting on your hands and not writing. It's not going to happen through feeding your work into some AI or any of those things. The way that you improve as a writer is going through the process of writing. And that process takes time, but that time is being well used. Even if you don't get to publishing, even if you don't get to whatever end goal that you might have, manage your expectations and just know that once you start writing, you are a writer. And if you're like me, you're going to be a writer for the rest of your life. So you're playing the long game here, and don't minimize the rewards that are coming along the way. Like every good thing in life, the destination is great, but like so many things, I actually believe that the journey is more important than the destination. So what's important for you is not how fast you can get it done. What's most important for you is that you get started and that you keep going. So that's point number one. The first thing that I wish I had known before I started writing, that it's going to take so much longer and be so much harder than I thought it would be. Point number two, you are going to change as a writer. I did not know that when I first started in. I launched into my writing career and thinking that I am going to go all in on being a pantser. And I'm going to write in first person. So my first draft of my book was totally first person. I, me, all of this was written from that lens and that perspective, which served me well. But as I got into subsequent drafts, I realized, you know what, it might be better, particularly because now I want to talk about maybe having a different point of view. Maybe I go back into third person. Maybe I kind of blend this a little bit. So there's tweaks and changes that I made along the way. I changed as a writer. The other thing is I was all in on being a pantser, or what some people call a discovery writer. If you're new to writing, this just means I didn't follow an outline. I just sat down with a blank page with a keyboard and started going. As the ideas came to me, I wrote and wrote and wrote. And there's a beautiful thing about that. The beautiful process about that is, for me, like, that just works. It helps me to lean into my creativity. I love nothing more than an open road and a full tank of gas, so to speak, when it comes to writing. And that's what being a pantser was for me. But the challenge is, once I got finished with that draft I mentioned earlier, I had a lot of holes and I had a lot of things that still needed to be ironed out, and kind of rabbit trails that ended up being dead ends. And it's because I just went wherever my inspiration took me. What I've learned now is that I'm changing as a writer, and I'm much more intentional about outlining. Now, I still, when I get into my first drafts, I still kind of do some of that discovery writing because I think it's exciting and fun to kind of let the story tell itself. And as you kind of discover as you're writing, you kind of let the story fill in the gaps. But at some point, and I would say earlier than you think, you want to build in some structure, because that's just going to help you so much. When you get later on, you start to feel stuck, you can true back to your outline and think, okay, where was I going with this? How does this fit in the sequence of my overall storyline? So my encouragement to you, if you were a pantser, and I was an evangelical pantser, don't knock the outliners, and maybe it's something you want to consider a little bit earlier in your process. Either way, though, whether you full on are pantsing your novel, eventually you are going to have to feather in structure. It's just a question of, where do you invest that time? Is it closer to the front end or closer to the back end? So, point number one, it's going to take a lot more time and be a lot harder than you think it is to write your book. Point number two, the second thing I wish I had known when I started writing my book is, you're going to change and grow and evolve as a writer, and that is a good thing. And point number three, the third thing that I wish I had known when I started writing my book is, it's going to be incredibly fun and rewarding. I had an idea that it might be when I started writing, but I had no idea how much I was going to enjoy it. And for me, it has been absolutely a dream to be able to sit down, open my laptop, and just tell a story. I think human beings are wired for stories. Like, that's one of the ways we connect with other people, is through story. I love reading great stories. I love watching movies. And so now being on the other side of kind of creating a story and shaping a story, it is one of the most thrilling and exciting things in my life. And I wouldn't have had that experience a couple years ago because, again, I never gave myself permission to write. So if you have an idea or a dream to start writing a book, but you haven't started it yet, let me encourage you today. You are the only person who can write your book. And today is a great day to get started. Don't believe the lies. Don't fall into the trap of thinking you don't have time. Don't listen to the voice of imposter syndrome that says, "Who are you to write a book?" You're a normal person just like anybody else who's ever written a book. That's how we all start. Even your favorite author, the most world famous author, at one point was just a person sitting in front of a keyboard or in front of a notebook with an idea. So hopefully this was an encouragement to you. Again, let me recap the three things I wish I knew before I started writing my book. Number one, it's going to take longer and be more difficult than I could have ever imagined. Number two, I'm going to learn and grow as a writer. And number three, it's going to be so much more rewarding than you could think or imagine. So, hey, in today's episode, I mentioned outlining and how big of a deal that has become for me. One of the tools I use and love to outline my novels is Scrivener. I've posted other videos talking about why I love Scrivener, and I'll link to those in the show notes. But let me just say, Scrivener is great. It's intuitive. It makes a ton of sense. It is a one-time cost, which is a huge deal for me. And they have a great trial where you can try it before you buy it. And they offer 30-day trial that's free. It's 30 days of use, not 30 consecutive days. You can take breaks, you can build in rest, which I believe is critical for any writer or any creative person. And I want to help you get started. So if you go to start.tcbur.com, check out my free Scrivener startup guide. There I highlight the 10 features that I love in Scrivener that will help you kind of create a project, set up some labels and filters. It will show you how to use their corkboard to outline with index cards and get to drafting your book. Because at the end of the day, what I want to do more than anything else is encourage you to get started and to keep going, because I believe that you have a story to tell, that your story's worth telling, and that nobody can tell it but you. So if you want that resource, go to start.tcbur.com. Again, it's my gift to you, absolutely free, and I hope you enjoy it. Hey, that's it for this week. Thank you so much for listening. And until next time, keep writing, and I'll talk to you soon. Later.